Shalom, shalom. In today's video, I will be discussing the origin of these mysteries and the secrets of their tikkunim and sources where you can find more information regarding some of their aspects. With that being said, let us begin. We learned that the Kether, Chokmah, and Bina of Otikyomin was in the mystery of Ayin, Ein Sof, and Ein Sof Or. And we learned that there was a constriction of the light. And from this principle, we learned that everything in its smallest aspect will be circular, and everything in its largest aspect will be circular. We also learned the mystery of the vowels, which were created as a result of the Nikudim. And it was demonstrated that there were 13 points, the mystery of the beard that would come after this Partsuf. This is also the secret of cellular mitosis, which would be the splitting of something, because the will is something outside of the self. It in and of itself is a vessel by which it's filled. So, moving along, we then learned the principle of Bina, and we learned this is the secret of the 231 gates. And the mystery of the 231 gates is that it constitutes and represents every single combination of letters. So it in and of itself is a variable of all definition, of all possibility. And so we learned that the Partsuf of the 231 gates is written like this. We have front of Sefirot, backs of Sefirot. We have Aleph is Kether, Bet is Chokmah, Gimel is Bina, Dalet is Da'ath, Hey is Chesed, Vav is Gavur, Zain is Tiferet, Ches Netzach, Tet as Hod, Yod is Yisod, Kaf is Malkut, Lamed is the back of Kether, Mem is the back of Chokmah, Nun is the back of Bina, so on and so forth with the rest of the Sefirot. We learned at this point they were in a back-to-back positioning, which is the mystery of the frontal lobes, the two lobes of the brain, being the right and left respectively. And they are in the mystery of the gates. And this is the Bina of Otik, and Bina is the Mokim, which is the brain. And therefore, the physical brain will have the image of these Partsuf, as demonstrated here. And these were the three enduring vessels that endured in the beginning. Now, we learn these were the crowns of the letters, the Nikudim and the letters themselves. And we see this alluded to in the second Tikkun, in Tikkuni HaZohar, and that secret is here. So we will be entering in Tikkuni HaZohar, and we will be accessing the second Tikkun. It said, this is the Torah called beginning. And Torah here is being in reference to Chokmah, which light comes from Atziluth. And so we are in the rungs of Atziluth and higher. This is the Torah called beginning, which contains cantillation marks, vowels, and letters. And it has been demonstrated the vessels, or the essence of the vessels, and then the vessels, and then the letters. And the essence of the vessels are the principles of each letter, as demonstrated here, and in my next video, in the secret of Atika Kadisha. And then the Sefirot, which are vessels filled with the essence of the principles, and they are garmented therein of the letters. And these are the three enduring vessels, as demonstrated before, and they are in the circular aspect, and they are the Kether, Chokmah, and Bina of Otik. And they are alluded to in the second Tikkun in Tikkuni HaZohar. It goes on to state this. So it says, this is the Torah called beginning, which contains cantillation marks, vowels, and letters, has been established, and many positive precepts and negative precepts. Positive precepts are 248. Negative precepts are 365. The 248 positive precepts are an allusion to the 248 bones of the body. And the 365 negative precepts are an allusion to the 365 flesh aspects of the body, the tendons and muscles, etc. This is an allusion to flesh of my flesh, bone of my bone, and the mystery of Abba and Ima, who are united after the image of the gates, like this. In the image of the gates, they are side by side, like the lobes of the brain. And their positioning is after here, in the lower aspects of the beard, as demonstrated here, where Abba and Ima are the mystery of the bones and the flesh, and they overlap each other in union, as demonstrated above in the mystery of the gates. And it's important to understand that this is the Netzach and Hod of Otik Yomin, and it's the Chesed and Gavura of Arik Anpin. And Arik Anpin is the beard. And in my prior video, I discussed some secret mysteries of the beard, namely here. Because this is the Chesed of Otik, which is the Kether of Arik Anpin. And this is the Chesed of, this is the Gavur of Otik, which is the Hokmah of Arik Anpin. And this is the Tiferet of Otik, which is the Bina of Arik Anpin. And this is in the mystery of the sparks. As we know, 7 sparks fell in the mystery of the kings of Edom. Find their mystery here, because we read that there were the crownlets, the vowels, and the letters, and then we have positive and negative precepts. And it is said that the beard is a concealed matter, and the beard is created out of the Shin, Tet, and Nun, which is the Shaitan. And as said earlier, the 7 letters which are represented here are the 7 letters that have these specific tagin. And these tagin is in the mystery of Shin. In Yod He Vav He, which is Zer Anpin, which is the secret of the sparks, in Atbash cipher is Mem Sadi Fe Sadi. And the gematria here is 300, the value of the Shin. It can be seen another way. It says they lacked weapon, and the weapons that they lacked are the secret of the Zain. And there are 3 Zains on each one, as 3 tagins, which is 7, 14, 21. Im Kalel is 22, because they were in the secret of the letters. But moving along, these top 3 sparks, being Shin, Tet, Nun, receive 3 parts each in the mystery of the 3 enduring vessels, as demonstrated here. Now, as you can see, and as has been demonstrated in the prior videos, the aspects of the beard are demonstrated by names: Yod He Viv He, Yod He Vav He, Yod Ha Vav Ha. So, where does this actually come from? And I will demonstrate and tell you. In Sefer Emek Hamalek, we will find in gate Aleph, regarding the 231 gates, this. In conjecture with the line, we have Yod He Viv He, which is the name of 72, and then beneath it we have the name of 63, Yod He Vav He. And it'll be like that for the front of the Sefirot, mainly the first 11 Partzus. And then when we get to the back Partzus, which will be the Lamed, which is the Kether of the backside, as has been demonstrated earlier, we find ourselves at Yod Ha Vav Ha, which is the 45 name, and Yod He Vev He, which is the 52 name. And the 45 name, 63 name, and 72 name are the hairs of the beard. The 72 name, the 63 name, and the 45 name. And they are the hairs of the beard. Because in the mystery of Bina, which was the mystery of the gates, we find their establishments mainly the establishment of the hairs of the beard here in the 231 gates, which this image here is a circular representation of the gates demonstrated in Emet Hamelet. And now that we have the hairs of the beard established, which are the Chesed, Gavura, and Tiferet, and the origin of their partsufs, we saw in a prior video that the 72 letter names are associated to particular passages, and its keys are given cryptically in Book 9 of the Zohar. And now we're analyzing Abba and Ima, which are the Netzach and Hod. And so Abba and Ima are the mystery of flesh of my flesh, bone of my bone. They are the mystery of the left and right sides, and they are always in a state of union. Now they are the Netzach and Hod of Otik, the Chesed and Gavur of Arik Anpin, and they are the Hokmah and Bina of Zeranpin, by which we know them as Abba and Ima, because we're usually analyzing these things from the point of Zeranpin below. So with that being said, of this was the bones and the flesh of Adam Kadmon. And of what I just stated, we have the 3 enduring vessels. The light of the infinite strikes that. We have 7 sparks. The first 3 are established in the secret of the beard. It is a concealed matter, not spoken of. Then we have Abba and Ima, which are the mystery of the 248 bones and the 365 muscles and tendons. And this aspect of the partsuf is represented in the second Tikkun cryptically in this passage. And it says, this is the Torah called beginning, which contains cantillation marks, vowels, and letters, and many positive precepts and negative precepts, which all originate in the name Yod He Vav He. And so the cantillation marks are the Kether of Otik, the vowel marks are the Hokmah of Otik, the letters are the Bina of Otik. The beard is a concealed matter. The positive precepts refer to Abba. The negative precepts refer to Ima. The positive precepts are Abba because there's 248 of them, which are the bones, which is Abba. And the negative precepts are 365, and they refer to the flesh, which is Ima, which all originate in the name Yod He Vav He, referring to the 4 worlds. And again, this is further shown here, namely in He who commanded these precepts, which is why it says, God made me. This is the meaning of, this is my name, Shammai, forever. And this is my memorial, Zikrai, Exodus 3:15. Shammai 350 plus Yod He 15 equals the numerical value of 365 negative precepts. Zikrei 237 plus Vav He 11 equals the numerical value of 248 positive precepts. The 365 negative precepts were given from the left from Ah, the aspect of Gevurah, which is the fear of Isaac. And notice that it says Yud He and Vav He. This isn't alluded to by the 231 gates, which appeared higher in the Bina of Otik. How so? In the 231 gates, the 72 name has 10 characters. It's Aleph with every letter is Aleph. Now minus itself, there's no Aleph and Aleph, that creates 21 lines because there's 22 letters. 10 of those lines are represented by Yod He Viv He, and 10 of those lines are represented by Yod He Vav He, leaving one line in the middle. In the middle of each partsuf is a particular letter combination which will mirror itself. And it's the middle combination here is Aleph Lamed, which is later mirrored when we get to the partsuf. The backside of Kether is the face of Kether, backside of Kether is Lamed. And there the partsuf will be Lamed Aleph, and it'll repeat these patterns. The middle line here is Yod He, which is alluded to. And it says Shammai plus Yod He. Then the back side of the partsuf, so every aspect of the front side is adorned with Yod He. And then when we get to the back side of the partsufs, it's adorned with Vav He in every respect. And this is the secret of here in Tikkuni, where it says, "This is my name forever, and this is my memorial." Shammai is 350 plus Yod Hey. This is in reference to the gates. Equals numerical value of 365. And this is referring to Ima, the left. Zikre, 237 plus Vav Hey. And this is to allude to the other aspect of the 231 gates, Partsuf. Regarding Abba and Ima, it is said of the prophets that her mouth is filled with blood. Because flesh, representing the left side, which is Ima, is feminine, and for this reason all females from the Yesod, which is where their light emanates from, will have blood. And why does it say that her mouth is filled with blood? Because she's in the partsuf of the mouth, and she is the flesh, which is the blood. Therefore it was said of this, never to be taken peshat and literally. Likewise, on the right side is Abba, and he's the bone. And the bone is white, and so men will all produce white seed from their Yesod. Now we have the right and the left, and it is said the 32 paths of wisdom. Well, the 32 paths of wisdom is Chokmah Atziluth, which we know the Chokmah of Zeran Pin is Abba. And so in the mouth there will be 32 teeth that mirror this. So, of Abba and Ima, they're concealed underneath the beard, and they are the, as I've already stated, Chokmah and Bina of Zeranpin, whose partsuf we'll discuss later. But from this partsuf, we also must understand that when they are looking together at the face, they are on the same level, mainly even. And we see that in the male body, as everything is uniform. And with the female's body, when she looks to Abba, she's one rung lower, because this is Netzach and this is Hod. So Hod looks to Netzach, but is one rung lower. Meaning that the Keter Chokmah and Bina of Abba is above Keter Chokmah and Bina of Ima. And because this is the chest area of Abba, it is said as if she bows, to allude to this partsuf's construction. And you may ask yourself, what does this mean? This means that the highest light fell the lowest. And because the highest light, this is a very high light, Abba and Ima, a very high light, and they're covered by the hairs of the beard, we find them in the mystery also of the animals. Because later you will find that animals, that the darkness is a result of the highest light that fell the lowest. And there, this is why we read that the animals are constructed and the birds and things are constructed before man is constructed. And so of this we'll find all of the creatures, they'll have protrusion of bones in their head because of this partsuf, that Ima is lower than Abba. We'll see that you'll have protrusions of bone from the front parts of the head, from the sides of the head, branching over. You'll also see that on the back side of animals, you will also find that they can also have bone as well because of this. And so you'll see this like in shells and other such forms like that. You'll also find this in all of the insects. They will also be adorned in the same likeness. So this is also in the secret of why animals are primarily covered in hairs. Not all animals are covered in hairs, but many animals are covered in hair, especially animals that are associated with the horns, and the ones that are associated on the land, at least. Not that all of the animals aren't from these partsufs. They absolutely are from these partsufs. But these partsufs interact and manifest themselves in all of the worlds in different ways. And there's a physical representation of that, like a type of Kabbalistic anatomy. But as stated before, this is the secret of the 32 teeth of the mouth, which is the circular aspect of their partsuf. And the linear aspect of their partsuf we're going to find in the 32 levels of the spine. So with this having been established, we've now revealed the mysteries of Abba and Ima, which are the next aspects of the linear construction of Partsufim. And again, it was said of this is the Torah called beginning, which contains cantillation marks, vowels, and letters, many positive precepts and negative precepts, which all originate in the name Yod He Vav He, namely in He who commanded these precepts, which is why it says God made me. This is the meaning of, this is my name Shemai forever, and this is my memorial Zikrei. Exodus 3:15, Shemai 3:50 plus Yod He equals the numerical value of 365. Negative precepts. Zikrei 237 plus Vav He 11 equals the numerical value of 248 positive precepts. The 365 negative precepts were given from the left, from Ah, the aspect of Gavurah, which is the fear of Yitzhak. And it says the rest is missing. So with these things having been established and the second Tikkun having been expounded upon, Shalom Selah.